Okay, so we have a timed entry reservation for Arches National Park, and our entry is at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's about 10 till 9. So this is the line that we are going to go through, and once we get in the park, we could stay all day until it closes if we like, but they only allow a certain amount of people to go through per hour. That way it kind of dissipates how many people are into the park. So actually this is not bad. The line's going really fast, and it's really cool. So again, you need to have your timed entry reservation. We just entered Arches National Park. Our first stop is going to be at the Visitor Center. We're looking forward to going in and learning a little bit about Arches National Park before we take the road on up into the park to see all the arches. Just to let you know, this video is a little bit lengthy, longer than I really like to make them, but there's really a lot to share about Arches National Park, so I hope you'll stick around for a little while so you can enjoy some of the scenery and some history of Arches National Park. Arches National Park is a great family park where you can walk to many features. You can see much from a car, but the special aura of time, silence, and scale may elude you. Stop at the Visitor Center for advice, watch the orientation film, see the exhibits, and browse the publications, maps, and other sale items. A self-guiding audio tour is available, and ranger programs are offered seasonally. The park has no food or lodging. Moab, just south of the park, offers full visitor services. They have the Devil's Garden Campground, which is open year-round, and that's something that's a little bit difficult to get into, but if you're lucky enough to get in there, it's fantastic, and it's on a 6-month rolling window. Well, while we browse through the Visitor Center, let me tell you a little bit about Arches. Water and ice, extreme temperatures, and underground salt movement are responsible for the sculpted rock scenery of Arches National Park. On a clear blue sky day, it's difficult to imagine such violent forces or the 100 million years of erosion that created this land boasting one of the world's greatest densities of natural arches. Over 2,000 cataloged arches range in size from a 3-foot opening, the minimum considered an arch, to the longest landscape arch, measuring 306 feet base to base. Towering spears, pinnacles, and balanced rocks perched atop seemingly inadequate bases vie with the arches as scenic spectacles. New features are being formed as old ones are destroyed. Erosion and weathering work slowly but relentlessly, creating dynamic landforms that gradually change through time. Change sometimes occur more dramatically. In 1991, a rock slab 60 feet long and 11 feet wide and 4 foot thick fell from the underside of the landscape arch, leaving behind an even thinner ribbon of rock. The delicate arch, an isolated remnant of a bygone fin, stands on the brink of a canyon with the dramatic La Salle Mountains as a backdrop. We're leaving the Visitor Center, and now we're on the road into the Arches National Park. And the scenery is really incredible, so please do enjoy. Native Americans have been here for thousands of years. The archaic peoples and later ancestral Puebloan, Fremont, and Ute peoples searched the arid desert for animals and wild plants for food and stone for tools and weapons. Some of their pictograph and petroglyph panels remain. Today's Hopi, Paiute, Navajo, Ute, and Zuni peoples remain connected to this landscape. The first non-native explorers came looking for minerals. Ranchers found grasses for cattle and sheep. Disabled Civil War veteran John Wesley Wolfe and his son Fred settled here in the late 1800s. A weathered log cabin, root cellar, and corral are evidence of the primitive ranch that they operated over 20 years. A visit to Wolf Ranch is a walk into the past. Oh, be sure to look at the foldout that you pick up at the kiosk when you enter Arches National Park, because they have a wonderful map inside that shows you all the turnouts and the different sites that you can see from the turnouts, as well as the hikes that you can take. So you definitely want to have that on this trip. The park lies atop an underground salt bed that is responsible for the arches, spears, balanced rocks, sandstone fins, and eroded monoliths of this mecca for sightseers. Thousands of feet thick in places, this salt bed was deposited across the Colorado Plateau 300 million years ago when a sea flowed into the region and eventually evaporated. Over millions of years, residue from floods, winds, and the oceans that came and went blanketed the salt bed. The debris was compressed as rock, at one time possibly a mile thick. Salt under pressure is unstable, and the salt bed lying below Arches was no match for the weight of this thick cover of rock. The salt layer shifted, buckled, and liquefied, and repositioned itself, thrusting the rock layers upward as domes. Whole sections fell into the cavities. Faults deep in the earth made the surface even more unstable. You see the result of one 2,500-foot displacement, the Moab Fault, from the Visitor Center. Fault caused vertical cracks, later contributed to the development of arches. As the salt subsurface shifting shaped the earth, surface erosion stripped off younger rock layers, except for isolated remnants. Today's major formations are the salmon-colored Entrada sandstone, like most arches, and the buff-colored Navajo sandstone. They stand like a layer cake over most of the park. Over time, water seeped into cracks, joints, and folds. Ice formed in the fissures, expanding and pressuring the rock, breaking off bits and pieces. Wind later cleaned out the loose particles, leaving a series of freestanding fins. Wind and water attacked these fins until the cementing material in some gave way, and chunks of rock tumbled out. Many of these damaged fins collapsed. Others, harder and better balanced, surviving despite missing sections. These became the famous arches. Pothole arches are formed by chemical weathering as water collects in natural depressions and eventually cuts through the layer below. This is Arches National Park's geologic story. Probably. The evidence is largely circumstantial. There's much more to life than meets the eye. Pinyon and gnarled juniper trees add a splash of green contrast to the red sandstone terrain. When conditions are just right, wildflowers bloom profusely from April to July. Most mammals are active at night, but you might see mule deer, kit foxes, or more often jackrabbits and cottontails, kangaroo rats and other rodents and small reptiles. Flocks of blue pinyon jays chatter in treetops. Migratory birds like mountain bluebirds and residents like golden eagles are seen by careful observers. Definitely protect desert life by staying on the trails. Desert soils may appear barren, but they teem with living organisms that bind loose, fragile soils together so they can support plant and animal life. These organism-rich soils are a critical part of the ecosystem in canyon country, called biological soil crust. They prevent erosion, absorb water, and provide vital nutrients to plants. This community of cyanobacteria, lichen, algae, and fungi grows slowly. A single footstep can destroy hundreds of years of growth. This is a really unique landscape that we're going through right now. These are all petrified sand dunes. You can see for quite a way miles and miles of ancient petrified sand dunes. We are up here in mid-May, so this is like springtime out here. Everywhere you go, there's just beautiful wildflowers all over. We've taken a bunch of pictures and you'll be seeing them as we go. These rocks that are coming up are known as rock pinnacles. And then you'll also see balancing rock, which is coming up. In the distance, you have a fantastic view of the La Salle mountain range. We'll be making a right-hand turn here pretty quickly, and we're going to head over to what's known as the Windows section, which is probably one of my favorite parts of the park. And here we're going to see the Garden of Eden, the Elephant Butte, the Double Arch. We're going to be able to hike actually to the Double Arch, as well as the North Window and the South Window. We'll hike to those. They have the Parade of Elephants. It's a fantastic area that we're going into, so hang around and have a look. me and Ron are hiking up to what they call the windows. And it's really a pretty cool little trail. There's some steps when you start getting up here to the arch. I'm anxious to see what's on the other side and just get underneath it. And here's an arch that's forming, actually. See this one's forming, Ron?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's a treat. I didn't notice. Oh, look at that little tiny arch being made over there. In that little hole. That little hole, a new arch is forming. And these are other arches forming. Oh, that's a big arch right there, Ron.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, I didn't see that. That'd be a neat one to go check out too. Look what I like right here. Look at this tree. Is that gnarly?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. Ronnie, we're on our way up.
Yep.
This is really cool. Go up ahead and I'll take a picture of you. We're on the Double Arch Trail right now. We just got done with windows. I guess all this is windows actually, huh?
Yes, the whole area.
Okay, these are just different arches that we're looking at. So first I thought, well, maybe we shouldn't take this trail up, but we are going to because it's just too amazing not to. And that's the Double Arch out there. Start taking some pictures now. Okay, we hiked back here to the Double Arch. This is really, really amazing. Look at this. Just see the scale of the people and then the size of this arch to kind of get the idea how humongous this is. All the rock formations right up here, just amazing. And what a bummer, because my phone is about to die. So I can't take any more pictures till I get charged up. It's beautiful. Again, there's the Double Arch. Along with this fantastic landscape, I'm just amazed at all of the wildflowers. There's so many of them and so many different varieties. They're just gorgeous. Garden of Eden viewpoint. There's a lot of really interesting formations in here. Really dramatic landscape out here. There's so much different type of scenery through here as we're nearing the back end of Arches National Park. We're on our way to go see the Delegate Arch, which is probably one of the famous ones that you see quite a bit. But this area here has a lot of different flowers than I've seen over at the other arches. Some really big yellow daisies. We're seeing big clusters of them. It's real pretty. But the landscape really changes here a bit. Here you can see the daisies that are in bloom. Real spring is going on up here. Look at all the daisies. So this is the Delegate Arch. It's too far for us to go hike, but to give you an idea, it's actually really, really tall, because you can see some people up there and they're very, very tiny. But that is known as the Delegate Arch, and that's the iconic arch here over in Arches National Park. I wish we had some sun so I could stand out, but that's it. Okay, we are coming down out of Arches National Park. We took the scenic tour.
There's the Gossipers.
Yes. That rock up there is called the Gossipers. It's a really cool rock. So anyway, we've been up here in Arches. We got here at 9 o'clock this morning, and we've been touring for the last 4 hours on the scenic drive as well as hiking the trails, and it's been really, really awesome. I'm not going to say, woohoo! That was a hell of a cliff right there, Ron. Gnarly. Switchbacks. So yeah, when you first enter Arches, you run into the visitor center, which we've toured, and then you go up the scenic route. And I didn't realize how much we climbed, but yeah, you are climbing switchbacks to get up here into where all the arches are and all the scenic overlooks. It's really amazing, though. It's just amazing. Arches delivered. That's all I need to say. Don't you think, Ron?
Utah rocks.
Utah rocks. It does. That's no kidding. Look at this. I told Ron, we've taken so many pictures of rocks, but it's like I can't even describe how beautiful they are, my Lord. They're all so different and unique. So much is going on in here. And we're up here in May. What a great time of year. We found so many spring flowers that, you know, when you start hiking or going really slow, you notice all the different flowers that are in bloom here in springtime. So it's fascinating. Okay, so we are heading out of Arches, and we loved it. We're heading over to Canyonlands National Park now, which is not far from us. Okay, so we got here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we spent a little over 4 hours. But when we left the park, I guess it was around 1:30 or so, the line was way, way long. People were even getting discouraged with the line and turning around. And if you notice, as we were driving through the park, there was not much traffic at all. So just keep in mind that if you do decide to go to Arches National Park, get there early as you can. That way you can really enjoy the park without having bumper-to-bumper cars or anything like that, and you have the whole road to yourself. It's really nice. You've been road trekking with Ro and Lo. Thank you for watching our video on Arches National Park, and if you enjoyed it, please do subscribe, and that way you'll be notified when I place new content. Happy RVing and have a wonderful day.